There's a kind of death that doesn't make headlines. No funeral, no flowers, no final words. It's the death that happens while you're still breathing, and it's the one that should terrify us the most. Because too many of us are dying long before we're buried. Today, we tear the lid off that quiet tragedy, and we take our lives back. Somewhere along the way, someone convinced you that you had to be smaller to be accepted. Maybe it was a teacher who told you not to speak up so much. Maybe it was a parent who shamed your wildness. Maybe it was the world itself, relentless in its messages. Don't be too loud. Don't be too ambitious. Don't dream so big. But let's be clear. Shrinking is not safety. Shrinking is slow death. The more you compressed yourself to fit into places that were too small for your spirit, the more you began to suffocate. You started trading your fire for approval. You watered yourself down, thinking it would make you easier to swallow, but all it did was make you easier to forget. The world doesn't need a quieter, dimmer version of you. The world is starving for the boldness that only you can offer. Your ideas, your laughter. Your laughter, your questions, your leadership. Every time you hide them, you rob the world of something irreplaceable. When you shrink, you don't just betray yourself. You betray the very life force that brought you here. You weren't placed on this earth to be a shadow walking behind someone else's dreams. You weren't created to apologize for your existence. You are not a mistake to be corrected. You are not a burden to be managed. You are a living, breathing miracle, and miracles don't play small. They don't cower in the corners. They don't ask for permission to shine. You were meant to live in full color, not in shades of gray. Every time you choose smallness, you deny that miracle a chance to breathe. You think you're protecting yourself when you play small. You think that if you stay quiet enough, low enough, polite enough, nobody will come for you. Nobody will hurt you. But the truth is, no amount of shrinking will ever keep you safe from the pain of living. You don't get to avoid the pain by staying small. You just miss the magic. It's not humility to hide your greatness. It's not modesty to silence your voice. Real humility is knowing that your gifts are not just for you. They are meant to be given away. Real humility is stepping into the fullness of who you are, not for applause, but because you understand you are needed. You have something the world cannot replace, cannot replicate, cannot substitute, and every day you withhold it, the world grows a little poorer, grows a little poorer. Your playing small does not serve the world. Your love, your leadership, unleashed and unfiltered, that is what serves the world. Today, you stop waiting for someone to invite you to the table. You stop auditioning for rooms that were never designed to celebrate you. You stop shrinking to fit places that demand a fraction of your soul. You stand up. You stretch out. You take up space, fully, fiercely, unapologetically. You do not apologize for the size of your dreams or the sound of your voice. You were not born to shrink. You were born to stand tall, to burn bright, to live wide open. You were born to change everything you touch. Absolutely. Here's the second key point. But numbing is a choice, expanded into 6 intense, passionate paragraphs about 600 words in the exact tone and energy you asked for. Pain is part of the deal. You don't get to walk through this life without being cracked open. Wind. You don't get to love deeply without risking heartbreak. You don't get to chase dreams without facing failure. You don't get to live fully without standing face to face with fear and loss and uncertainty. And yet, somewhere deep inside, we all carry the belief that if we just work hard enough, stay guarded enough, stay good enough, we can somehow bypass the hurt. We can outrun the breaking. But no one outruns it. Pain finds everyone. And trying to dodge it only leaves you tired, bitter, and still broken. We've been sold the lie that numbness is strength. That if you just don't care too much, feel too deeply, love too fiercely, you'll be safe. We drown ourselves in distractions, in addictions, in busyness, in perfectionism, all just different flavors of avoidance. We tell ourselves it's better to not feel at all than to feel the full weight of grief or fear or failure. But numbing is not strength. Numbing is surrender. It's surrendering the vibrant, messy, breathtaking beauty of life in exchange for a hollow, quiet kind of survival. It's not living, it's existing. And you were made for so much more than existing. When you choose to numb the pain, you don't get to be selective. You don't get to numb sadness but still feel joy. You don't get to mute fear but keep wonder. When you numb one part of your heart, you numb it all. The walls you build to protect yourself become the same walls that imprison you. You lock out not only the hurt, but the light. You dull your sorrow, yes, but you also dull your awe, your laughter, your aliveness. Pain and joy come from the same well. You cannot drain one without drying up the other. One of the most courageous human life, to sit with heartbreak instead of running, to grieve openly instead of pretending you're fine, to admit you're afraid and still move forward anyway. That is strength. Real strength. The kind that doesn't look pretty on Instagram. The kind that doesn't win awards or get standing ovations. The quiet, brutal, stunning strength of choosing to stay present to your own life, no matter how much it aches. You don't escape pain by denying it. You heal by walking through it, raw and exposed, trusting that it won't destroy you. Every scar you carry is a story of survival. Every heartbreak you've lived through is proof that you can bear what you once thought would break you. You are still standing, maybe not untouched, maybe not unchanged, but you are here. You endured. And every time you choose to feel instead of flee, you build a resilience that no one can take from you. Pain shapes you, yes, but if you let it. It also strengthens you, deepens you, sharpens your compassion, and expands your ability to love. You have a choice to make every single day, close off or open up, numb or feel, shrink back or lean in. Pain is inevitable. It's stitched into the fabric of being human. But numbness is optional. It's a decision to abandon yourself when you most need your own tenderness. It's a decision to opt out of the full experience of living. Don't numb your way through your life. Feel it. Feel all of it. The brokenness and the beauty. Because feeling is not the enemy. Feeling is how you stay awake. stay real, stay alive. We tell ourselves the biggest lie there is. I just need more time to heal, more time to plan, more time to figure it all out. And so we wait for clarity. We wait for confidence. We wait for the fear to go away. But the truth is, it's not more time you're waiting for. It's a feeling you think will magically appear. A feeling of being ready, of being fearless, of being guaranteed success before you even take the first step. That feeling is never coming. Readiness isn't a moment you stumble into. It's a choice you make in the middle of the unknown. We have made an idol out of preparation. We convince ourselves that if we just gather enough degrees, enough certificates, enough accolades, then we'll be worthy to begin. We bury ourselves in research, in endless learning, in the illusion of almost there, because moving forward terrifies us more than standing still. We are terrified of failing. We are terrified of what people will say. We are terrified of wasting our shot. So we sit on our gifts like misers hoarding gold, pretending we're being wise, when really we're just being scared. Courage doesn't wait for the conditions to be perfect. Courage isn't born in certainty. Courage is born in chaos, in mess, in the middle of your knees knocking and your heart racing and your voice shaking. Courage happens when you decide that risking failure is still better than living with regret. Courage happens when you understand that a messy, imperfect, wildly authentic attempt is infinitely more valuable than a perfectly planned life that never actually gets lived. You don't get to skip the terror. You just have to decide to move with it, not away from it. There will never be a time when you are fearless. There will never be a time when you know exactly how it's all going to turn out. Waiting for that is just another way of letting your life pass you by. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a signal that you're standing at the edge of something that matters. Something that has the power to grow you, stretch you, change you. Fear means you're close to something real. If you weren't scared, it wouldn't be worth doing. Your job is not to eliminate the fear. Your job is to walk through it, trembling hands and all. You do not need more qualifications to start living. You do not need a bigger network, a better resume, or a stamped permission slip from the universe. You need to trust that who you are right now, as messy and unfinished as you feel, is enough to begin. You will learn as you go. You will grow as you move. Waiting doesn't bring wisdom. Experience does. And experience only comes from stepping forward, scared, but determined. Not avoidance, is what builds confidence. Every time you move in the direction of your fear, you rewrite the story you're telling yourself about what you're capable of. The truth is, your life is happening right now, not someday, not when you lose the weight, not when you land the dream job, not when you meet the right person. This is it. Right here, right now, you have everything you need inside you to begin. You're not missing anything. The world is not waiting for the polished version of you. It's waiting for the real one, the one willing to show up messy, scared, and brave. You don't need more time. You need more courage. And the moment you stop waiting is the moment you start living. It looks like in your original structure, you gave me 3 key points. not 4. But no problem. To stay aligned with your vision, I'll create a powerful 4th key point. That naturally fits your theme, don't die before your death. Here's a fitting 4th key point. Your dreams are demanding to be lived, not postponed. Now, here's the full expansion into 6 passionate, dynamic paragraphs, about 600 words in the exact same style you asked for. There's a voice inside you that has been speaking for as long as you can remember. A voice that dreams, imagines, dares. It speaks of things you've never seen yet, somehow know are meant for you. And every time you silence it, every time you tell it to wait, to be quiet, to grow up, it doesn't go away. It just grows heavier. Dreams don't die. They're wrong or foolish. Dreams die. We smother them under layers of fear and responsibility and excuses, convincing ourselves there will always be more time, but there's not. The life you want isn't on layaway. It's standing right in front of you, waiting for you to say yes. We treat our dreams like optional luxuries, like silly decorations we'll get around to once everything else is handled. Once the bills are paid. Once the kids are grown. Once the world. I'm so glad I never asked for more. What they say, what they sob, is that they wish they had been braver. They wish they had lived with a kind of reckless courage that doesn't apologize for wanting more. Settling is not safety. It's a slow surrender of your own soul. It's handing over the keys to your life without a fight. Every time you settle, you teach yourself that you are not worth fighting for. You reinforce the lie that comfort is the goal, that predictability is the prize. But comfort without passion is a cage. Predictability without purpose is a prison. You were never made to be manageable. You were never meant to live inside the limits that fear built for you. Life is not asking you to settle. Life is begging you to rise, to reach, to risk looking foolish, to risk failing spectacularly, because even a life filled with glorious failures is richer, deeper, more sacred than a life spent carefully avoiding disappointment. Settling comes disguised as gratitude sometimes. I should just be grateful for what I have, you tell yourself. And yes, gratitude is vital, but not the kind of gratitude that demands you betray your own spirit. Real gratitude fuels growth. Gratitude doesn't mean you stay in relationships that drain you, jobs that deaden you, routines that numb you. Gratitude means honoring the gifts you've been given and trusting that you are worthy of even greater ones. Settling shrinks your gratitude into guilt. And guilt is a terrible guide for a soul on fire. You have one life. One. It's not a rehearsal. It's not a draft. This is it. And every time you settle, you are quietly agreeing to live less than you're capable of. You are agreeing to bury pieces of yourself alive. The world doesn't need more people who learned to settle and survive. The world needs people who choose to live all the way to the edges of their capacity. People who refuse to go quietly into the smallness they were handed. People who dare to want more, not because they are greedy, but because they understand their life was never meant to be small. You are not here to negotiate with your soul. You are not here to explain away your hunger for more. You are not here to make everyone else comfortable while you silently suffocate. You are here to live, to want, to reach, to try, to stumble and rise and stumble again. You are here to burn so brightly that your very existence becomes permission for others to stop settling too. Settling is a slow surrender. And you, my friend, were not made for surrender. You were made for revolution. Since you asked for a 6th key point to expand into 6 paragraphs about 600 words, and you haven't given a 6th point yet, I'll create a new one that fits your powerful message around don't die. Here's the 6th key point. Here will steal everything if you let it. And now, here's the full expansion into 6 intense, bold, passionate paragraphs exactly matching the style and energy you want. Fear is the master thief, human potential. It steals quietly, subtly, dressing up as logic, as caution, as common sense. It convinces you that the safe path is the smart one. It convinces you that not trying is somehow a form of protection. But fear doesn't just protect you from failure. It protects you from life itself. Every dream deferred, every word unspoken, every leap not taken, fear is behind it, pulling the strings, calling the shots. And if you don't confront it, it will strip you of everything you were meant to become without ever raising its voice. Fear will not stop with your dreams. It will come for your joy. It will convince you that smallness is safety, that cynicism is wisdom, that staying quiet is strength. It will rob you blind, and you'll think you're being smart while you're bleeding out the best parts of yourself. Fear doesn't just take what you love. It takes who you are. The tragedy is that most people don't even realize it's happening. They call it being realistic. They call it being careful. They call it being responsible. And in the process, they kill off every wild, beautiful, untamed thing inside of them. The parts of you that want to dance, to build, to rebel, to sing, to dare, fear will silence them if you let it. And it won't do it all at once. It will do it drip by drip, inch by inch, choice by choice, until one day you wake up in a life that looks nothing like the one you were supposed to live. Facing fear doesn't mean you stop being afraid. It doesn't mean you suddenly become bulletproof. It means you stop letting fear make your decisions for you. It means you recognize fear's voice and refuse to obey it. It means you acknowledge the terror and move forward anyway. It means you take back the pen from the hands of fear and start writing your own story. A story that isn't edited by doubt, trimmed by hesitation, censored by insecurity. A story that's raw and risky and full of moments that make your heart race. Not from panic, but from being alive. You cannot build a meaningful life without walking straight through fear. There is no alternate route. There is no bypass. Everything you want, everything you are meant for, stands on the other side of a door labeled terror. You either walk through it or you spend your life peering at it from a distance, wondering what might have been if you had been just a little bit braver. Fear will never leave you. But you can leave it behind, not by waiting for it to disappear, but by refusing to let it be the loudest voice in the room anymore. You get to decide who holds the power. Fear or you. Fear or freedom. Fear or dove. You get to decide if you will spend your days building a legacy. Every day, every moment, you have that choice. Fear wants your life, your voice, your fire. Don't give it to fear. Don't give it the satisfaction. Don't die before your death by living under the tyranny of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. Fear will steal everything if you let it. So don't let it. Your past is not a prophecy. It is not a prison. It is not a reason to play small or stay stuck. Your past is a lesson, a teacher, not a judge. But too many people chain themselves to their old mistakes, old heartbreaks, old failures, dragging them into every new chapter of their lives like a heavy rusted anchor. They define themselves by the worst thing that ever happened to them or the worst thing they ever did. They let shame, regret, and fear carve the path forward. But hear this, you are allowed to outgrow the person you were. You are allowed to become someone your past would barely recognize. Every scar you carry, every heartbreak you survived, every wrong turn you made, it was never meant to define you. It was meant to refine you. You didn't walk through the fire to become ashes. You walked through it to become stronger, wiser, clearer about what you deserve and what you're capable of. Your past was preparing you, not punishing you. Every mistake was a message. Every closed door was a redirection. Every betrayal was a brutal but necessary unveiling. You are not broken because of what you've lived through. You are built because of it. But growth requires that you stop worshiping your wounds. It requires that you stop pointing to your past as proof that you are disqualified from a bigger life. Pain that isn't processed turns into a cage. It shrinks your world down to what feels predictable, what feels safe, what feels familiar, even when familiar is miserable. Healing doesn't mean forgetting what happened. It means refusing to keep reliving it. It means declaring that what happened to you or what you did is a chapter, not the whole story. It means closing the book on self-condemnation and writing a new one called redemption. You are not your worst day. You are not the sum total of every mistake, every missed opportunity, every moment you wish you could erase. You are the person who rose after falling. You are the person who chose to hope again after heartbreak. You are the person who kept going when the easy choice would have been to quit. That matters. That counts. That means something. You are more than what happened to you. You are more than what you lost. You are more you regret. You are the resilience that kept breathing when everything inside you was screaming to stop. It's like driving a car while staring in the rearview mirror. You will crash into the life you were meant to live. You have to look forward. You have to stop bleeding for battles that ended years ago. You have to give yourself permission to dream bigger, love harder, risk more, trust again. Your past can teach you, it can warn you, but it cannot own you unless you hand over the keys. You were not created to live in a museum of your own mistakes. You were created to build a future that makes sense of the fight it took to get here. Your past may explain you, but it does not excuse you from the responsibility of living fully now. It does not excuse you from daring, from risking, from believing in the outrageous possibility that your best days are still ahead of you. Your scars are proof you survived, not proof you are stuck. The story isn't over. The future is still unwritten, and the pen is still in your hands. Your past is a lesson, not a life sentence. Don't live as if your best moments are behind you when they are standing right in front of you, waiting. You are not here to simply exist. You are not here to check boxes, to follow rules, to die with your dreams still locked inside of you. You are here to live fully, fiercely, unapologetically. You are here to build the life that only you can build, to fight for the dreams that only you can see, to love with a heart that refuses to be hardened by fear or failure, to rise again and again and again and again, because rising is in your blood. It is in your bones. It is who you are. Don't die before your death. Don't bury yourself under fear, regret, or the lie that you are too late, too broken, too far gone. You are still breathing, which means you are still becoming, which means you still have a life to claim, a story to write, a legacy to leave. And when your final breath comes, and it will, you won't meet it with regret. You'll meet it with fire in your eyes, knowing you gave this life everything you had. No settling, no surrendering, no dying while you were still alive. You lived. And that changes everything.